Stage 1 and Stage 2 are pressed for flight.
High flow engine purge enabled. Deluge is active.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off.
Electrons clear the pad, saving ground systems.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
And liftoff of Electron from Launch Complex 2, leaving US soil for the first time and on its way to space up and over the Atlantic Ocean. All 9 Rutherford engines on Electron's first stage now propelling the rocket at more than 700 kilometers an hour. We are hearing good calls from the teams in Virginia and Rocket Lab Mission Control. A clean ascent for Electron, now nearly a minute into flight. You are looking at 56,000 pounds of maximum thrust from those Stage 1 engines, but soon they'll be throttling down to support that pass to the maximum aerodynamic pressure point.
Cleared max Q.
There is the call out. Electron has cleared that first milestone and is continuing nominally. The 9 Rutherford engines on the first stage are throttling back up, and all looks nominal for propulsion there. We are now at 1 minute and 32 seconds into flight, with Electron moving at speeds of nearly more than 3,000 kilometers an hour now.
The next major milestone will be those Rutherford engines on the first stage shutting off completely, expected to occur at around T minutes 26 seconds into flight. That will happen just before separation of the first and second stages, which then allows the Rutherford engine on the second stage to fire up and continue with the mission to low Earth orbit. The events are called out from Mission Control as MECO, stage separation, and stage 2 engine ignition. Meanwhile, those 9 Rutherford engines are continuing to propel Electron at more than 6,000 kilometers per hour. 2 minutes and 10 seconds into flight of Virginia is for launch lovers.
MECO confirm.
Stage separation successful.
Stage 2 ignition.
Excellent news there from our launch operators. Electron has had a successful MECO, stage separation, and stage 2 ignition. The next milestone will be separation of the rocket's fairing. We do this to lose unnecessary weight once Electron is through the Earth's atmosphere.
Fairing jettison succeeded.
And as we saw from Electron's onboard camera and heard from Mission Control, the rocket's fairing has successfully separated and fallen away, exposing the Hawkeye 360 satellites to space on their way to low Earth orbit. Our first launch from US soil is going great so far.
Guidance is nominal.
Stage 2 propulsion, holding nominal.
Coming up on 4 minutes into flight of Virginia is for launch lovers, our 33rd Electron mission. The rocket's second stage is now reaching speeds of more than 9,000 kilometers an hour, powered solely by a single space-optimized Rutherford engine. The second stage will take the payload to the height of the mission's orbital altitude before it separates with the kick stage, which will carry on to insert the mission into a circular orbit. Before that, we'll have a few more mission milestones to complete, including a swap of the batteries for the second stage engine shutdown, and then final stage separation. Those events are coming up at around the 6 and 9 minute marks into launch.
Checking in on the clock, and we are just about T plus 5 minutes into the mission. Hearing nominal calls here from our launch operators in Mission Control in Virginia and Auckland. The second stage Rutherford engine is putting out a maximum of 5,800 pounds of thrust
Stage two
on its way to
propulsion nominal.
delivering our customers' payloads to orbit. At liftoff, the rocket weighed about 13 metric tons altogether. But since it's shed its first stage that stored the majority of the mission's propellant, along with 9 of those Rutherford engine, Electron is down to 1/5 of its liftoff mass, enabling that second stage engine to propel Electron past 11,000 kilometers an hour.
We are coming up to our next event in the launch timeline, what we call the battery hot swap. This occurs on the second stage of Electron for the Rutherford engine, which switches over to a new set of batteries to power its electric pumps once the first pair are almost out of energy. Once the swap is made, the old batteries fall away from Electron, and sometimes we see those shiny silver packs on the screen as they go. So let's keep our eyes on the screen and listen in for the call that battery hot swap has occurred.
Throttling down.
Hot swap successful.
Battery jettison confirmed.
Our
AFTS
vehicle
is
control
saved.
operator there reporting that the battery hot swap was successful, and
Guidance
so
is nominal,
continues
2
our
minutes remaining.
Virginia is for launch lovers mission. The second
Stage two
stage
propulsion
Rutherford
still
engine
holding
is firing nominally and propelling Electron past 16,000 kilometers per hour, with that new high voltage battery discharge holding nominal. That second stage and the Hawkeye 360 satellites are now at an altitude exceeding 300 kilometers. Electron will continue with this ascent for the next 2.5 minutes until we come up on some of our last actions to complete this mission for Hawkeye 360. They include the shutdown of the
HVV
second
battery
stage
discharge
engine,
holding nominal.
followed by separation of the kick stage carrying the payloads so that it can begin its first orbit of Earth before our scheduled payload deployment, expected at around 57 minutes and 18 seconds into flight.
While we're in the second stage burn, let's take a quick look back at the mission so far. So Electron lifted off the pad at 2300 UTC and performed a smooth first stage burn. Our first stage separation events were effortless, as well as the light up of the second stage engine in space to carry on with the mission. You can see it there, moving the mission along at speeds of more than 21,000 kilometers per hour. Hawkeye's payloads will be deployed to a
Stage two
550
propulsion still
kilometer
holding
orbit.
nominal.
So with Electron now past 328 kilometers altitude, we have another
Entered burnout detect
200
mode.
or so kilometers to go until that final phase of the mission.
Guidance is in terminal, 22 seconds remaining.
SECO confirm.
Stage 3 separation confirmed. Nominal transfer orbit achieved.
And that is SECO and stage separation confirmed.